Good afternoon and welcome into the Pacers podcast show. I'm Kyle Newman, your host.
And I'm Rhett Hensley, your co-host.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. After a 2 month layoff, we're here to talk Pacers basketball. Everything Pacers. Gold and blue, blue and gold. However Red says it. We love Indiana. We bleed blue and gold. And
And
we
now
are
we
all
bleed
about it.
red.
We do?
We do. We bleed red.
That's right. Well, it's more of a maroon.
It's more of a red.
That's
Eh,
debatable.
eh,
Nonetheless, they are some awesome Hickory uniforms. Rhett Hensley, we're back after a couple months because of our busy schedule. We just don't know if we can do it at the certain times. And things we're so busy, work, school, things get in the way. But nonetheless, we're season's back, so we're going to try and get back on it every week. But it just won't be at a set time, just whenever we can do it. But how are you doing here today, Rhett?
oh, I'm doing fantastic. Looking for some great Pacers talk. How
Hey,
about you, Kyle?
that's wonderful. I love the enthusiasm. I am doing well as well. I am ready to talk Indiana Pacers basketball. There's been a lot going on, a lot to keep up with. We're underway. The 2016, 20, the I'm sorry, the 2015, 2016 season, and there has been a lot of ups and downs already. So we have to get right into it, Rhett. The Indiana Pacers are playing a lot better than they started the season off. 0 and
Oh,
3, they
that's
started
right.
off the season with losses to the Raptors, the Grizzlies, and the Jazz. But since then, they have now won 6 out of their last 7 games, with that one loss coming by 4 at Cleveland, arguably the best team in the NBA that is predicted by many to win the championship. So, Rhett, now the Pacers stand at 6 and 4, third in the Central Division in the playoff race. What do you make of the Pacers season so far?
Oh, I'm thinking it's fantastic. Paul George is really showing how much he's developed, even if he sat out last season. I think it's helped him grow as a player. Um, you
Is he
know,
back?
he's back. He's definitely back. And I mean, he had 32 points against LeBron. He gave LeBron a run for his money, and LeBron, out of respect, said he's glad he's back, which was great. Those two love to battle together. Um, and 6 out of the 7 games, that's pretty great. Teams really gelling together.
Yes, they are. We mentioned it. Their most recent wins here have come against the Timberwolves, against the Celtics, the Magic, the Heat. It's always good when you beat the Heat. Love that
That's something.
rivalry. Love beating the Heat. Then you had the Celtics again, so Celtics twice here in the last 7 games. And then the Pistons, which was a game that we really needed to win, and that started this little win streak on the road, much improved, big division game, and the Pacers got it done. Rhett, that leads them into tonight's game at Chicago
Chicago.
that will decide second place in this Central Division so far. That would put the Pacers at 7 and 4, the Bulls at 6 and 4, would put the Pacers only a game behind the Cleveland Cavaliers for first place in the Central. Tonight's a big game, but there's some news going into it. Looks like the Pacers will be out without George Hill, Miles Turner, and
The
jo-
Stucky.
and that's right, Stuckey. Joe Young is listed as day to day, but the Bulls do have Derrick Rose back, but he's been inconsistent this year. Still dealing with blurred vision, and apparently for the next couple months he could be. What do you make of this matchup tonight? Big one, Rhett, in Chi-Town.
Oh, yeah, I think this is going to be a tough battle. I think that the Indiana Pacers could come out on top if Paul George is playing like he has been, and we need Monte Ellis to step up. He's been kind of up and down, kind of like a roller coaster, or a Christmas tree, as Stu would like to say.
Up and down
Um,
like a Christmas tree. It's about that time. Let's get 'em
yeah,
up.
I know. Get him up, then take him down. Um, so, Monte Ellis has got to step up, and we've got to have Jan Mahimi playing that defense that he's been playing. So it's going to be a tough battle, especially if you're putting Mahimi up against Joakim Noah.
Yes, yes, it will be. And Noah's getting it going here a little bit. Obviously, their star very on the Bulls. Very Jimmy Butler might be that new star on that team. Very hard to deal with, but they have those pieces there. But so do the Pacers, Rhett. And all of a sudden, all this disrespect we've heard, the Pacers are starting to get respect. And I'm still curious to see as this team continues to develop, especially with these young players, how do they jump and fit in here? We're going to take a look at the statistics, but do you think that the Pacers win this game tonight at Chicago? Do they keep the good play going?
Yeah, I think that they can. I think that they will. With the key factors of turnovers is a very big thing, and they've been sharing the ball very, very well. Exception for Miles Turner. I mean, not Miles Turner, but C.J. Miles when he's out on the court. But other than that, they share the ball very well.
Yes, they do. I'm going to agree with you. I think that the Indiana Pacers tonight will pull out a big division victory against the Chicago Bulls. That always a good rivalry between the two, but the thing
They've been
that
inconsistent this year.
that's right. I'm looking at the Indiana Pacers who are playing very hot as of late, but the Chicago Bulls have just, as you said, been very inconsistent. They're coming off wins against the Hornets and Sixers, but they lost to the Timberwolves. They did beat the Thunder. They lost to the Hornets, the Pistons. They also did beat the Cavaliers though this year. So they've been a good team, and a lot of it's been their bread and butter, their defense, much like the Pacers is what they drive on. And Derrick Rose has been really good in some games, but in others has really struggled. But he's really struggling as of late. I just like the Pacers' chances here tonight. The Pacers are really on a roll, winning 3 in a row here, and as we said, 6 out of 7. I think Paul George has found himself. You talked about that. He is the leading scorer on this team, and Rhett, isn't it great to see again to have Paul George looking like the old Paul George? He comes into tonight's game averaging 24 points per game, Rhett, and almost 9 rebounds. The man is almost averaging a double-double. His assists are up this year as he's averaging almost 5 assists per game. This might even be this is a new and improved Paul George. Is that possible? That he's going to be even better
Could be,
than we expected? You
and it's going to
mentioned,
happen.
I believe it, and we're seeing it. I One thing is it looks like Red he's starting to get comfortable in that power forward position,
Yeah, I
that
mean,
four spot.
he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. He's starting to, it takes time to, familiarize yourself with a new position and be able to bang with the big boys. So, he's something you got to get used to, and he's
Yes.
starting to feel that.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned Monte Ellis really struggled the first several games this year, but he's starting to get a little something going here now. He's averaging almost 13 points per game, and he's leading the team with assist rate at about 5 per game. So that I think is the key with this player, this other star in this lineup with Paul George, is if Monte Ellis can be more and more unselfish, where he's passing the ball and then he's still that lethal scorer, that's what Indiana really wants and needs.
Exactly. That is what they need. Because Monte Ellis, he can be lethal at many different things, and I can tell you right now that some people that were doubting his defensive skills this year, he is definitely playing a little better than what people are expecting, like that have seen so far. He's averaging almost 2 steals a game. which is pretty good for that. Um, he's playing pretty good defense. You know, he's getting that um, IQ on the defensive end, stepping into charges, creating the contact there. So,
Yeah,
which I've liked to see.
yeah.
So,
The big question mark with him was how was he going to be defensively? Well, leading the team in steals, as you said, looks to be buying in and believing in this Pacers the system and their motto of defense first, and it's starting to look like that, Rhett. How about this? This is something that has surprised me this year. How about Jan Mahimi? This man, did he is he part of the new Transformers movie that's going to be coming out? Working on that. What's going on here? The man's averaging 8 points per game, leading the team in blocks. What have you thought about Jan Mahimi's performance so far this
it's
year?
been pretty impressive. One thing that, has, I mean, it's not too big of a deal, but he's usually having right around 5 fouls, which is kind of, it's kind of, sketchy in my mind. But other than that, the dude has been playing very well, rebounding wise, scoring wise. He's developed that jump shot that we saw when he first came to the Indiana Pacers, and it's starting to help out definitely for this team.
Yes, it is. I'm very pleased to see that. How about some of these other guys here?
Glenn Robinson the third.
Just
How
about
about
to
this
mention
fella?
him, averaging 5 points per game, starting to see more minutes, and if he keeps playing like has been, he will be seeing
Yeah,
more minutes. I mean, what do you think of this man,
he's
Rhett?
not a selfish player. And he's shooting 50%. So that's showing you how much he's really shooting. He's not shooting very much, but when he does, he's hitting them at a high rate.
He gives it his
Uh,
all every possession.
yeah, and that's something that the Indiana Pacers need, and that's what every coach wants out there. So he's definitely going to be seeing more minutes. Um, it's he's a great piece to the puzzle for this Indiana Pacers team, and he's going to be around for at least a few more years.
Yes, I agree with that. Another guy I've been impressed with, one of the new guys you always want to know, the new guy additions to the team. Jordan Hill's been playing better here as he's seen about 24 minutes a game. He's averaging 9 points per game and really starting to get it going here as of late. And that's good to see, right? Because where he's really effective is on offense. What have you thought of the new addition, Jordan Hill?
Yeah, he's playing pretty decent. He's had some pretty big games with he's a rebounder, which is a key thing for the Indiana Pacers.
Yes, eight
Uh,
per game.
8 per game is pretty good. Um, 9 points, averaging close to 9 points isn't bad. He's shooting 39.8% from the field.
Yeah, you'd like
Would
to
like
see
to
that.
definitely see that go up.
Hmm.
Free throw percentage for a big guy, it's 70%.
Pretty good.
That's decent. But he's playing pretty decent for this Indiana Pacers team.
He is. Then you look at some of the other starters.
I
Stuckey, 10 points per game.
there's
Miles, 12 points per game. George Hill, 14 points per game. These players that were big for the Pacers last year, Red, are continuing that.
somebody that I need to give a little bit more respect to that I did not give respect to at the beginning of the season.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'd like to apologize to Chase Bettinger.
You should.
Uh,
The
um,
disrespect.
he's becoming a vital factor for this Indiana Pacers team.
He is. He's seeing about
Um,
16 minutes a game. He's averaging 4 points per game. But what we're really seeing him do is add, first of all, very underrated ball handler. Takes the ball up the court sometimes for the Pacers, which has been really nice to see. But he makes good decisions. He passes the ball well, and I just think he's going to continue to increase his production for the Pacers coming off the bench, as I projected. I think he's going to end up about 9 points per game type of a player off
yeah,
the bench.
yeah, he's averaging 4.3 points a game, um, 1.5 assists and almost 2 rebounds a game. Getting about 15 minutes a game, which isn't bad. Shooting 40% from 3-point range and 42.9 field goal percentage. It's not bad. Now free throws, on the other hand, definitely need to be worked out. He's shooting 50%,
Yeah, that's
which is
unacceptable.
pathetic. So, he needs to definitely work on that.
Now, how about the few guys I just mentioned there, some starters? George Hill 14 points per game. George Hill 14, Miles 12, and Stuckey 10. What have you thought of those three guys so far?
Jordan Hill's stepping in, or not, George Hill is stepping into more of a leadership role, and I think that's what he needed to do from all along. 14 points a game, 3.7 assists, 3.7 rebounds, and close to 2 steals a game.
Yeah,
That's
impressive.
not bad. That is not bad at all. 45% from the 3-point field.
And we knew he
So
could shoot.
just think about this. He is becoming one of the most lethal 3-point shooters in the league right now, um, and that is pretty impressive.
It
Um,
is.
it's the talk around the league right now. He is definitely shooting at a high rate and hitting at a high rate. So
And if he can continue this, this may allow the opportunity for that role of if he were moved to shooting guard or whatever, and Mr. Joey Young at the point
mhm,
guard position, you can move some things around. Speaking of Joey Young, might be starting tonight, Rhett.
yeah,
If he ends up being able to play, if he's healthy, um, and gets the nod tonight with George Hill out, do you think Joey Young can do a good job here for the Indiana Pacers? Because I'll tell you, we haven't seen hardly anything of the man. He's just not played.
yeah. He definitely needs to be playing because I think that he can add a lot to this team. But why mess with something what we got going good right now? But I think that he definitely should be seeing some minutes, and I think he will be tonight if he is not injured. And I can't find the injury report,
Yeah, all
but
I've seen is the day to day
he is
recently.
injured with something.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Rhett, it's what's happened with Paul George and his assistant going up and Monte Ellis. What that does is not have to think about moving George Hill to the two spot because he's able to play that point guard role when you have two other guys, really everyone around him in the starting lineup that's sharing the ball well. He's able
Yeah.
to shoot, and we know how well he can shoot. We've just given the statistics. So it's just great to see from guys like that. What about CJ Miles?
CJ
Averaging
Miles,
12.
he's shooting good, um, but one thing that it's always been an issue with CJ Miles is I think he shoots a little too much. He's shooting 39%, almost 40%, 34% from 3-point range. You know, he's averaging right at 27 minutes a game, almost 2.5 turnovers a game. So, he's a guy that goes out there and gives it all, but he definitely needs to bring up that assist column a little bit more and be a little less selfish.
Yeah, and turnovers have been a bit of an issue as well for the Pacers. I think played a large role in their first few losses of the season. Not taking care of the basketball definitely
Yeah,
hurts a team, but
yeah.
you definitely would like to see Indiana take care of the ball a little bit more. How about Rodney Stuckey?
Rodney Stuckey. He's at 10 points a game, uh, 2 assists a game, and 3 rebounds a game. That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
They
We definitely,
also, him and Miles have missed 3 games so far this year. So,
yeah. I mean, he's shooting at a very great percentage right now at 46%. 3-point range, he definitely probably shouldn't take another three. He's shooting 14%.
boy.
Um, yeah, he has 22 minutes a game, which is, I think he should be scoring a little bit more than that. But that's right in that ballpark.
Well, I would like to see that improve for sure. Obviously, want him and Miles to be able to get fully healthy as they're missing some games. But how about high hopes? The maybe we'll change this franchise around. Draft pick in Miles Turner. What's going on with him? What do you think, Rhett?
Well, I mean, he's
Six
not doing
points per
bad.
game. He's missed a couple games himself. He's seen
He,
about 16 minutes a game, 3 rebounds a game or so, averaging almost a block per game. What do you think, though, Miles Turner? He struggled a bit shooting the ball. Been a little inconsistent. What do you think it is?
I wouldn't say that he struggled shooting the ball. He's shooting 55%. Um, that's a pretty decent number to me. I don't know what ballpark you're shooting in, but if you want him shooting about 75, then yeah, he is struggling a little bit. But 15 minutes a game, 6 points, that's not bad. He's getting 15 minutes a game. If you want to think of it this way, Miles, or not Miles Turner, but Rodney Stuckey is getting, I think, 22, I said, and he's only averaging, 10 points a game? So you can put that in that category, but he's averaging almost 3 rebounds and, um, you know, only less than a turnover a game. So, that's helping out the team and almost a block a game. So I think that he definitely needs to be seeing a little bit more minutes.
Well, maybe that will be the difference with him. He also has that chip fracture in his left thumb right now that's keeping him
Yeah,
out of it for a couple games.
happened within
Um,
a minute.
yeah, it would just be great to. I mean, maybe the minutes need to come, and we'll see. But from what everybody was talking about with Miles Turner and your high hopes on him, uh, I was under the impression that he'd be doing a little better than 6 points per game. If he's going to be a franchise player, that's just not real impressive to me. Shooting about
Franchise player,
50%.
but you got to think 55%. That's a great percentage. He's not selfish. He's not being selfish. He's not taking that many shots. He is, giving it to the main focal points of the team. He's a rookie in this league right now, and he's not going to try to, overstep his boundaries on Paul George's team. And he's a great guy. The coaches love him. They say he's not selfish. He's a team player, and that's what the Pacers need right now. He doesn't need to try and do too much.
Well,
If
he
you want to,
definitely is bought into the system
so
and unselfish
if
basketball.
if
But
you want to think of it this way, Kyle, you wanted Frank Kaminsky. That was one of the big players that you wanted this year. Um,
I did love
and
me some Frank the
he's
Tank.
he's averaging 3 points, or he's averaging 3 points a game and getting a little close to 11 minutes a game, shooting 35%. So
Yeah, struggling.
35% compared to 55%, getting what, 4 more minutes a game. You know, hey, I'll take Miles Turner any day.
I definitely I've been pleased. I just would like I would like from what I've heard about this man, I just expect some more a little bit more. Maybe it'll come with points. Defensively, that's always been the big key thing with him, and that he'll help us out from that standpoint defensively, and I think it's been good. But again, the Pacers are going to need. It's never been an issue defensively with the Indiana Pacers, so I'm not as worried about that. The Pacers have defenders, but what I
Scoring
need
has been
is
an issue.
scoring, and I need more than 6 points per game from a Miles Turner who is looking to get more minutes and playing time. He can score more than that to be an unselfish player. I think maybe we'll see that develop a bit more. Again, he's injured right now. I would like to see him uh, be more of an offensive player because everybody's so hot on how well he can shoot the ball. Well, he's got to prove that and score more than 6 points a game.
He took 6 shots the last time he played against Orlando. 6 shots, he hit 4 of them with 10 points. Um,
That's more. I'd like to. That's what I would like to see consistently. Give him 10 points, 12 points a game. You add that to this lineup, and you're just going to be talking about a real effective, maybe top 10 offensive team in this league, and that's what I'd like to see.
and just like the analysts are talking, the best shooter on this team is Miles Turner. Um, his his jump shot that they said that needed to be developed, that was probably going to come last. His jump shot is incredible. Um, I he definitely needs to be taking a few more shots a game because I think that he can hit them. If you have him, with a little bit of space, he's going to knock down that jump shot. And from what he's been showing, his turnaround jump shot in people's face is also a key factor for his game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would want to see that continue in the right direction and to move toward that trend as the best shooter on the team. Because you look at it right now, and I would definitely say that's Paul George. And as we both know that he's the leader of this team, And I think that with his assisting going up and making players better around him, I think Miles Turner can be one of those where it can you really can. It's just the sky can be limit with this team if you add another player like that as a threat offensively. So we'll see if his play can be improved here as he hopefully gets healthy with that hand and can get some more minutes. What about Lavoy Allen? What's going on with this guy? Not real
Oh,
impressive.
not impressed at all so far.
He's playing 21 minutes per game and he's averaging 3.5 points a game.
I think, I think that in the Cleveland game, he is one of the reasons why they lost that game. Um, but, pish posh applesauce. So, he's definitely, he can grab rebounds. He's a monster when it comes to grabbing rebounds, but
He's
he is
averaging
very,
5
he's,
a
he's,
game,
yeah,
which
he's,
isn't that impressive. I mean,
it's not impressive when you got Mahimi down there and
yeah,
Paul George taking rebounds. Paul George has improved incredibly on that, but on the scoring side, it's not impressive. It's not
no.
impressive at all.
And I expect him to lose his minutes to a guy like Miles Turner if this trend continues offensively for
Yeah, and
Lavoy Allen.
Lavoy Allen's averaging 20 minutes a game compared to Miles Turner, almost 16 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So, you know, give give the give Turner some more minutes. Share the love.
And I think
So
it'll happen. And I hope that he continues to prove that the right decision was made with him because I think we all believe that. So we want to see it. And big games like tonight against the Bulls, though Turner will be out, are games where you can prove to the world that you were wrong disrespecting the Indiana Pacers and
exactly.
predicting where they would finish because the disrespect has just been there. Oh, they've started 0-3, typical Indiana Pacers, no coverage here, not even projected to finish in some people's minds in the playoffs, which is just absolutely unbelievable to me, Rhett.
Yeah.
Because as I look at this team, let's go back to where what we were talking about with the Pacers and where we think they'd finish in the East. As of right now, where the Pacers stand, they are sixth in the East right now, just a half a game behind the Bulls for third place, where I projected them to finish. So they beat the Bulls tonight, Rhett, and the Pacers jumped from number 6 to number 3, just like that. Oh,
That's something.
by the way, if that were to happen, would only be a half a game behind the Hawks for second. So, as of that, looking at those standings, Rhett, I'm telling you right, I'm still sticking with my gut. This Indiana Pacers team
There's something.
is at least to me is no worse than the third best team in the East. I put the
Exactly.
Cavs first. The Hawks are second right now. I think the Pacers will end up being better than the Hawks. I think it will end up coming down. Uh, the Heat have impressed me. I think it'll come down between the Bulls, the Heat, and the Pacers there, fighting for the second and third spot. I'm sticking with my gun. I'm putting the Pacers at third in the East, behind the Cavs and the Bulls.
Exactly.
If Derrick Rose can stay healthy, but that doesn't mean I don't think that the Pacers can beat those two teams heading into the playoffs. So I just find it comical, Rhett, the disrespect that was coming from a lot of analysts thinking the Pacers were going to be overrated and oh they'll barely make the playoffs and yet they win tonight and they're in third place. So
Yeah.
what do you make of it? Where do you finish have them? I think the last projection that we had coming from you was you thought they'd finish about fourth in the East. Where do you
Yeah.
stand?
It was third or fourth. It was those two range there. I didn't give a definite. Um, but those my prediction at the beginning of the season was it was Cleveland, Chicago, and then it was either Pacers or what was that third or fourth team? Um, I think it was Miami. So those were my top four that I thought were going to be battling it out for that top spot. So, you know, and honestly, I think Miami in the long run is going to fall a few, and Boston and Detroit's definitely going to be in the talks.
Yes. Yes, I
And
definitely
Toronto,
agree
just
with
like
that.
usual, it's gonna drop off.
Oh, well, Toronto. My buddy
Uh,
Stu right now, he'd be
yeah,
high on the Raptors, and yet again, much like kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL, until you do something outside of the regular season, don't talk to me.
oh yeah, it's
That's
kind of like when you have a nice can of soda and then you have the crash after that. That's representing the Toronto Raptors
it's
right
great
there.
while you're drinking it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a nice analogy. I like that. Right. Well, that's respectable where you're putting them, and we're pretty much on the same page. And it's just great to see. Hopefully, the Pacers can continue to win and stay hot. We talked about the big game at Chicago tonight, Rhett. Let's look at the remainder of November before we finish up this show, just to see who they play and what you know, how you think that they fare against some of these teams here. At Philadelphia, then they have the Bucks at home, at the Wizards, home against the Bulls, play the Bulls again, and then at the Lakers to round out November. What do you think of the Pacers' chances there with those 5 games?
with those 5 games, 76ers, cake. It's not a gimme though, but
No game's
it's
a
gonna be a
gimme,
tough. You know,
but I
it,
think that that's
they're on
a
a
no problem
yeah.
game.
Yeah, the Bucks, they're surprised this year. They just beat Cleveland, so they're going to be off a high.
Yeah, much
So,
improved.
I think it's going to come down to a close one, but it's still a young team, and I think the Pacers have more experience. So I think they'll be able to take that one. Wizards,
That'll be tough at
Wizards. If
Washington.
Bradley Beal's out once again, then Pacers, Pacers might be able to overcome that one. It's going to be a tough one. Back at the Bulls. This is going to be in
Home.
Bankers Life
Yeah, Bankers
Fieldhouse.
Live.
And I think that on Black Friday, Indiana Pacers um, are going to excel.
That would be
But
nice.
you just can't talk like that when you're playing a team as good as the Chicago Bulls, especially if we take this game tonight.
Yeah, rivalry game, always wanting revenge. That always is tough. And then at the Lakers, this shouldn't be too tough of a game
Yeah,
either.
time to smack Kobe around. Um, so I think that one's going to be a Indiana Pacers win. I think that the one game that I think that the Indiana Pacers might drop is the Chicago Bulls game.
Either
Um,
tonight or on Black
yes, I think it's
Friday.
going to be one of them. I think that they're going to lose at least once to the Chicago Bulls in these 2 games played against them.
Hey, that's pretty solid if you ask me. Um, I would agree. I'd go maybe as far as maybe they lose two, maybe they lose at Washington. But regardless, if you looking at that, you have them winning 4 out of the next 6 games, starting with tonight. That's still uh, that's still a lot to be proud of and trending in the right direction still, right? When you're winning the majority of your games each month. So we know it's a grind. We know it goes on for a long time. So let's let's hope that continues for the Pacers.
Exactly.
So just like that, the Pacers show the new time for the Pacers show, a little shorter to adjust for the schedules, is complete. We'll have much more to talk about in the upcoming weeks, but for today, that is it. That is all that we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to our show. Feel free to leave any comments. Tweet and retweet the show at Kyle M. Newman, at Rhett Hensley, and at Indiana Pacers Talk. We'll be back at it whenever our schedule allows for it. Try to be weekly, but no set times. Until next time, stay tuned. I'm Kyle Newman.
And I'm Rhett Hensley.
Have a great night and go